Hello and welcome back to the Hoarder Crafting Podcast. My name is Sasha and I'm coming to you today from a town just outside of Birmingham in the West Midlands here in the UK. Welcome, and this is episode number 27. Today I have 4 whips to talk about, one of which is a new cast on, and no finished objects, no stash enhancement / happy mail / acquisitions. And so I shall jump in with my first whip for this week, which is in this bag. All the bags that I mention, all the bags I show I have made myself. All patterns, yarns and stuff will be linked in the description box below this video. And first project I have to show you is my golden oak tank top. I finally managed to get this printed out so I can show you the front page. So as I said, this is my golden oak tank top by Agata Makiewicz. I am knitting this out of Creative Anarchy Borgies, which is a 80% superwash merino, 20% silk high twist in the colourway Hot Springs. And I am nowhere close to where I wanted to be for this week. So this is how much I've got, and I have done about 1 inch on it this week. So after mentioning last week that I wanted this done in time for the bank holiday weekend, I realised I had misjudged when the bank holiday weekend was. It's usually the last weekend of August, but because the last day of August is a Sunday instead of a Monday, it's actually the week before, so it's this weekend. So this definitely wasn't going to be done in time, so kind of knocked the wind out of me a little bit. But I'm still loving the project. I'm still quite happy with it. And if I don't finish it in time to wear it this year, I can always put it over a long sleeve t-shirt to wear, or just wait till next year. So this is a laced bottomed tank top. It is knit from the bottom up. It's a fingering weight project on 4mm needles. I'm using my Knit Pro interchangeables, which, yeah, I'm using for one of the project, but yeah, these are 4mm. Can't remember if I've said that or not. And I will mention my little, I think it's a llama, but it might be an alpaca, from Lorette's Crafts. I absolutely adore these stitch markers, or progress keepers. I might need to get some more at some point, but that's whip number 1. Whip number 2 is my current sock projects. So it is knit out of, these are knit out of the Opal Surprise sock wool. The colourway number is 4065, and I've kind of nicknamed these the Dusty Rainbow, because it kind of looks like a moody, dark, dusty rainbow. And I like the colours in the ball. I'm not such a fan of them worked up because the striping is a bit... It's not clean stripes. It's quite patchy, which you can see on this first sock. It kind of... yeah. It's not my personal favourite method. Given it's got quite obvious stripes, I would have preferred it to just be a stripe, 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 rather than patchy. But this is how far I've got on the second sock. So I hadn't cast these on when I recorded last week, but that's how much I've got. I had finished the other sock. So these are 64 stitches on a 2.5mm 9-inch, 25 rounds of 2x2 rib, and then this textured pattern that I kind of came up with. And yeah, I'm kind of just working on these a little bit here and there, usually if I'm out and about. Although recently I've been out and about but haven't really had chance to work on them. They usually come to the gym with me. Due to being on antibiotics last week, I didn't actually go to the gym. Not so much because I couldn't go with what was wrong with me, but because the antibiotics kind of knocked me on my butt. But yeah, I've also had other appointments where you kind of get there, you expect to be sat down waiting for a while, and I practically just go straight in. So not really had a chance to work on those all that much, so there's not much progress. My next whip, this was sat in the naughty corner, and then I took it out of the naughty corner. I started working on it. I ended up finishing the green yarn. The problem was I finished both the green and the purple yarn, and the top, when I put it on, came to about here. Now, when you have a large chest, you really don't want such a small amount, because of course it's quite big to go over. So you put your arms up when you flash people. So I had to go and buy yarn. But of course, both yarns I'm using are discontinued yarns that I couldn't get any more of. So I ended up going to my local yarn store, and with her help, picked out this Surdar Snuggly, which is a 50-50 cotton and acrylic blend. So it kind of matched the fibre content of the other two yarns. And this colour is Daredevil Denim, which is shade 0107. I think you can still buy this yarn. However, my local yarn store was having a clearance of this. She's trying to make space for new yarns that, yeah. And I suppose this was not a very good seller for her because, yeah. So she was quite happy because I ended up buying all 5 that she had left of this colour, which meant I brought 250 grams of stash in. So I lied, that was an acquisition. Oh, God. But it was an acquisition in order to finish a project, so can that be called an acquisition or happy mail, given I did it? I don't know, but shall I show you? So this is my crocheted maybe top, and it is looking like this. So I ended up doing I-cord around the armholes, since I didn't want to have to do a bind off on a ribbing and risk the green yarn breaking again, which may have saved me some of the green yarn. And then I started doing these ruffles. So I think I like this. I think I will like this even more once I've finished the length of it. So this is what the new colour looks like with the other two. And to make it look like this was intentional and not that I ran out of yarn halfway through, I have added a crocheted top stitching detail around the ribbed neckline. And I do plan on adding that same top stitch crochet detailing to the top here where the ruffles begin, just to make it look more intentional and not like I ran out of yarn. I do have a little of the green left. I did not have enough to do the ruffle round, but I do have enough that when I eventually finish the length of this, I am going to put a single crochet around the bottom just to bring that colour down a bit so that it looks intentional, because otherwise this top's just going to look like I ran out of yarn, and I don't want it to look like I ran out of yarn. This is being crocheted with a 4.5mm hook. The knitted sections, so the ribbing and the I-cord, was done on a 3.5. And yeah, I don't really have much else to say about this at the moment. I can't really say I'm enjoying it at this moment in time, because it is fighting me at every opportunity. But I'm working on it. I'm determined to finish it at this point out of spite. Out of pure spite. But that is whip number 3. And whip number 4 is a new cast on. If you've been around since the beginning of my podcast, since episode 1 or 2 I think I mentioned it, I had this yarn, the Karen Blossom Cakes. I had originally planned on knitting a dress with this. However, this is a very chunky, very heavy weight of yarn, and I realised I would not wear a dress made out of this. It would be much too heavy. So I decided, with the 5 cakes I have, I'm going to knit just a simple blanket. Now, I have never knit a blanket. I have always crocheted blankets. So this is a bit of a commitment for me. I am under no illusion that this is going to be finished this year. This will be a pick it up, put it down, potato chippy kind of project. But I have started, so this is not going to show up very well. So I started by doing a very, very long I-cord, so that I could work the I-cord up the sides as I go, and then I can just bind off an I-cord and it'll all be fine and done and finished. However, I'm not the biggest fan of doing I-cord, so I don't mind doing like I-cord bind-offs, not a problem. That's fine by me. I also don't mind doing a I-cord tab cast on or integrated I-cords. My issue is doing I-cord, just long strips of it. It looks lovely, it looks great, I like it, but it is tedious. And I can't just do it without looking. So I watched... It was a true crime documentary on Netflix, but I can't remember which one it was now. So I sat listening to that while I did the I-cord. And I have now picked up all the stitches, obviously, and worked a couple of rows, while integrating, or starting to integrate the I-cord sides. So, yeah. This is just going to be a garter stitch blanket. That's why it's just going to be a pick it up, put it down, slow and steady progress. The colours I am using are rose, and then I have 2 other colours in there, a grey and a green, but I'm not going to get those out until I'm ready to incorporate them. I have 2 of the rose, 2 of the grey and 1 of the green. So I think what I'm going to do is just like a big block blanket. So I'm going to work the pink until I run out, pick up the grey, work that until I run out, then the green, and so on, sort of reverse it. So pink, grey, green, grey, pink. Which, yeah. It will also mean that I will have used over 1 kilogram of yarn. So this is going to be quite a weighty blanket. But I don't mind that. I'm more likely to use the blanket than I am a chunky, heavy dress. I have not given up on the dress idea. It's just going to have to be with a lighter weight of yarn. So that'll be a project for another time. Probably not this year either. I am knitting this on a 6mm on my Knit Pro interchangeables. And I am very happy so far. This might be a project I don't show every week, because I don't think every week you're going to want to see, oh look, I've done 2 more rows. So I'll probably only show that when there's a decent amount of progress, or if I'm coming to the end of one skein, or I've just started another skein. Just to show, but not to bore you to death with it every week. But I don't mind having long-term projects like this. I think it'll be nice and relaxing. It'll also be good for when I'm ill and can't focus on anything else. I can literally just knit. The only thing I've really got to think about is every other row when I do the slip stitches for the I-cord, which I also don't know how many stitches this is. I kind of just did the I-cord until it was my wingspan, and went, I'll add a couple more rows and that'll be good. So I don't know how big this blanket is going to be. It should be a decent enough size, and yeah. So reading and watching life stuffs. Reading, I am only currently reading The Mammoth Hunters by Jean Auel. I am 10 chapters in. This is a reread for me. I have read them before, all 6 of them. So it's just a nice little couple of pages in the evening. Watching, we're on to season 2 of the Peaky Blinders. We have also started watching Wednesday season 2 together, me and my partner. And I am watching on my own the Gilded Age. I'm only 1 episode in so far, but yeah, it's looking good. I'm quite a fan of historical period dramas. I'm a amateur historian, shall we say. I kind of dabble in it. More Tudor history, but I don't mind the Gilded Age. And the costumes are amazing. But other than that, yeah, that's pretty much it, really. Life stuffs. It's not really much to talk about. It's just been a busy-ish kind of week, just a normal week, really. Nothing interesting has happened, really. I have been sorting out some of my stuff, organising some of my stuff, putting some stuff up onto Vinted to sell, including some old yarn of mine, leftovers from projects that have been sat in stash for like 2 years. I'm not going to do anything with it, so I've been selling it. Most of it is already actually gone within like a day of putting it up there. So this month's stash stats will look really good, because that's 550 grams of yarn out of stash. So, wasn't intentional. I didn't specifically do it in order to bring my stash stats down. I did it just to make room, to tidy up. You might be able to tell that this is looking a little bit neater, although nothing's really disappeared from the front. It's all been the stuff at the back that's kind of been pulled out, and I've decided whether I want to keep it or not. Some of it was yarn that I wasn't going to do anything with because I don't like the yarn. Others were just, there's no point in me keeping it, I'm not going to do anything with it, it's just taking up space. Somebody else can love and enjoy this yarn. So I've done that, and that's pretty much it. I think I've done a few little bits in the garden. If you watched last week's episode, you might have seen I've got a bunch of tomato plants, which have started to produce tomatoes, which, interesting fact, I don't eat raw tomatoes. I can't stand raw tomatoes. But we ended up with 11 tomato plants for some reason. Yeah, our friend gave us some, and it just strikes me as quite funny because it's like, I don't eat raw tomato. My partner, on the other hand, has been absolutely loving them and has been going out there every night to see if there's any he could add to his meal, which is it's quite funny to see. But I'd say, yeah. Thank you for watching this week's episode of the Yarn Hoarder's Crafting Podcast. If you liked this week's episode, maybe drop me a like, perhaps a comment, and if you want to see more of me in your feed every week, maybe hit that subscribe button. And I will see you next time. Bye guys.